Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, that's clickbait. Is it clickbait? Yes and no. I do love Hunt Showdown. It is one of the coolest games I've ever played. But it is also one of the hardest games I have ever played. And you might be saying to yourself, why don't you get good? Just get good. I'm going to go through what I love about the game and why I find it to be so difficult. And there's a reason, a really major reason as to why I find it to be so difficult. So let's get into the video. So Hunt Showdown is an escape from Tarkov style battle royale, meaning the main objective of the game is not really to necessarily kill other players, but there is a specific objective you're trying to achieve. It's also, well, like Tarkov, it's PvP VE, meaning you're not just fighting the other players, but you're also fighting AI. And I mean, this is a really cool combination, how it's done. And also, I just gotta say, the setting of this game is so awesome. It takes place in the bayous of Louisiana in like the 1890s. So it's really gritty, it's really spooky and grimy and dark. Some dark force has taken over the area and it's turned everyone into like zombies and monsters and all kind of things. And I mean, this game has some really cool enemies in it. The sheer amount of enemies, AI control enemies on this game is staggering. I mean, you've got standard zombies. You've got zombies with knives that can bleed you. You've got hellhounds, they can bleed you. You've got immolators. These guys are on fire, and if you pierce them like with a knife or a bullet, they'll explode and set you on fire. You've got hives, these women with like a hornet's nest bursting out of their torso, and if the hornets hit you, they'll poison you. You've got headless brutes covered in leeches with meat cleavers. There are way more enemies than this, AI control enemies. I'm not going to name all of them, but there's a big variety of them, and so you have to contend with them, and you also have to contend with the other players. So things can get a little dicey if you're a noob and you're trying to deal with the zombies and the other players. It can get kind of dicey, but fear not, you have a lot of tools at your disposal. There are so many guns on this game. It's crazy. You have knives, you have brass knuckles, you have heavy melee weapons you can pick up, in the environment, like axes and sledgehammers. You've got a perk system. You can level up your character to have more abilities. He can, do things like run more silently through water or faster through water, or take less damage from blunt force melee. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. There's also different ammo types. You got ammo that can bleed people. You got ammo that can set people on fire. Ammo that penetrates walls. I mean, this game is really deep. There are also tons of traps on the game. You can equip traps, decoys, just all kind of stuff. So anyways, you can basically, build out your hunter any way you want. When you recruit a hunter, they'll start with certain guns and certain things, but you can buy guns, you can get rid of the guns or whatever. You can sell the gun. The better the gun is, the more expensive it is, stuff like that. So you have a lot of options on what you want to bring into combat. Also, I want to speak on the graphics because this is Crytek we're talking about. And I mean, the game looks wonderful. These guys really know their way around some graphics. The Crytek engine is really good. The art direction is really good as well. Some of the low level hunters look bad, look basic, but like the higher level hunters look really cool and interesting. I know for a fact, as I'm working on like an old Western style comic book, and I'll tell you, man, it's very difficult to make those people look cool back in those days. They wore really basic, boring looking stuff, but a lot of the hunters in this game look really cool. So now, to stop bearing the lead, I'll tell you what I don't like about this game. First of all, I played on console, which this game is not designed for controllers. I'm very good on most first person shooters. Yes, I know on console they have a little bit of aim assist, but this game, and let me tell you this. I've been playing this game since it came out pretty much. It's been out for like 2 years. I think in the whole 2-year period, I've maybe killed 4 or 5 people ever with a firearm. And I only killed them because they didn't know I was there. And I shot them in the head and they didn't know I was, crouching in the bushes or something. I have never won a gunfight. I have killed people with like explosives, like dynamite or a melee weapon, but I have never killed anybody in a mano a mano gunfight. It's just not designed for a controller, and that makes it extremely difficult to play. It's like, so I play a lot of Apex, right? And in a game with like more modern weapons, what tends to happen is you might miss the majority of your shots, but you have an automatic weapon. So if you've got 12 shots that you shoot off and you hit 3 of them, I mean, you only hit a quarter of your shots, but you still hit them. The problem with this is that because you're shooting old-fashioned type guns like from the 1890s, the bolt action rifles and things like that, you pretty much get one shot. And you better hit them. So, and also you don't have aim assist really. So, if you don't hit that guy with that one shot, you're done for really. And this makes the game extremely difficult. Also, another thing that makes the game very difficult is there's no really onboarding for noobs. They don't have a firing range. They kind of have this little trials thing, and even that thing is actually kind of hard. But it's very difficult for a newbie to get good at the game. And there's a stark contrast between the way a newbie will play it and the way a really good player plays it. Like, for instance, in truth, the way you're supposed to play the game is you're supposed to creep around, get the clues to find this boss, and then you have to go kill the boss, which is an AI, and banish the AI, and then try and get off the map with the bounty. So you're really supposed to kind of be creeping around because everything makes noise and they can hear you creep running. If you step on a branch, it'll snap and they can hear it. Or if you kill a zombie, people can hear it. Everything makes a ton of noise. Really good sound design in this game. But the really, really good players, they don't care. They just run because they're good shots. They know they can kill you. They don't care. It doesn't bother them to run around. So it's kind of like this weird schizophrenic design, which, I mean, I can't really blame Crytek for this because I'm sure that they didn't know that would be the meta. Just to be like, no, it's actually easier to run. But anytime I try and run around, people hear me and then they just shoot me. So I don't know what to do. If I creep around, I end up missing all the action. It's just crazy. So that makes it really, really difficult when you have two people playing in totally different ways. Another thing about this game that's very difficult is that the design of the environment is kind of tricky. Like, a lot of times video games, their maps, they will design them in such a way as to make everything very recognizable. And when you want to call out, where an enemy might be to your team, it's very easy to do because there's so many landmarks that vary, and they, they don't look alike, and they're extremely different. So it's easy to say like, oh, he's by the clock tower. So the environments in Hunt are not very video gamey. Like, there's a lot of farm compounds and things like that. And what I mean by that is they're built like real farms. They're built like there's a tannery. It's built like a real tannery. There's all kind of machinery and stuff in there. So when you're a noob and you're trying to call out stuff, if you have a team, it's very difficult. I mean, yes, you can mark on the game, but it's very difficult because, like, if you're in a farm compound with a bunch of hay bales everywhere and tools, and a lot of the doors are kind of built the same, like they're those kind of rolling doors, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, where is he? Oh, he's by the hay bale. It's like there's 1,000 hay bales. Or he's by the rolling door. It's like there's a lot of rolling doors. And I know you're saying, well, you need to get good at the game. You need to get better. It's on you. But I'm telling you, man, I'm not this bad on video games. The only thing I've improved on in this game is avoiding fights. I've gotten better at creeping around the map and avoiding fighting people, but I have not gotten better at combat. I'm sure on PC it's a lot easier to play, but if you're going to try and play this on console, man, good luck. It is just too difficult to play on a controller. It sounds like I'm ragging on the game, and I'm really not. I still love the game, and I still play it a lot. I've never played a game that is as tense as this game is. It is the most tense. Like, it's scary. So yeah, it's a really good game, but I kind of low-key hate it. So that was the video. I didn't mean to complain for that length of time, but I just had to get that off my chest. Like I said, it's still an awesome game, and I really love it. It's just super hard. If you want to call me a noob or whatever, you can do so down in the comments. Just be somewhat polite about it. Check out my online comic, link in the description below. My Instagram and all that good stuff will be linked down there. And I'll catch you in the next one. All right, peace.